There's no such thing as time management. Time management does not exist. You should never try to manage and budget your time. It is impossible to do so.
For whatever reason on social media, whenever I post content about college, that's usually when I get some of the most hate. And I don't understand the reason why. I have an idea of why I get this hate, but it always stuns me. When people give me information, even if I disagree with it, my first thought is to question why. Like, why do you think that? If someone came up to me and said, I don't like black people, for example, I wouldn't get upset. My first thought would be, why? Why don't you like black people? Maybe that guy might have a compelling argument, who knows? But I wouldn't sit there and just instantly debate them and just challenge what they say without really listening to their reasoning and how they came to their reasoning, how they came to their conclusion. Now, this is gonna be another video where I shit on college, and I will continue to shit on college because I continuously don't see many benefits in college, at least in the modern day. Maybe in the past it was good for you, and I think it was back in the day. Currently, I don't see many benefits. I don't find the students to be all that intelligent. Besides it being a bit of a scam that you're kind of forced into to get a job, which I don't even know if that's really something that you want in the grand scheme of things, I don't see many benefits at all. And I tend to find that a lot of people that go to college, especially now, particularly nowadays, they end up failing in life. And I've debated this point with people, and they say, oh, well, you know, college students earn more money, or college students are smarter, they have higher IQs, and all this garbage. That, one, I don't think it's true. And two, I don't think it matters. If you make more money, but you have a shit life because you got into debt when you were in your 20s, and you could never actually create a life for yourself that was worth living. You were never able to invest in anything because you had so much debt. You were never able to date effectively because you never had time, because you're always working to make up for the debt. If you always were stuck in a bubble and you just accepted what the system or what college told you to think, rather than challenging the norms and stepping out into the world and challenging the status quo and thinking for yourself, to me, that is not a successful life. That is not a winning life. That is a loser life. That is a failing life. And I think most people, when they go to college, they internalize this loser life without even realizing it. That is the whole curse, or that is the whole point of college, in my personal opinion. Now, one of the craziest things to me is, to me, an institution for education should be about challenging beliefs. It should be about opening your mind to the possibilities of the world around you. It should be about broadening your horizons, so to speak. And it should be about learning fundamental skills that will guarantee a successful future. Last thing specifically, having skills that guarantee a successful future, I don't see college give you that at all. To me, one of the core concepts of life that will guarantee you live a successful life is following the ideal of eudaimonia. And I've said this before, but in case you have never heard me say this, or in case this is your first interaction with me, eudaimonia is effectively a Greek philosophical concept known as the good life, or the flourishing life, first created, supposedly, by Socrates, and then it was adopted by other philosophers, primarily Aristotle, Plato, etc. It's an ancient Greek philosophical concept that describes what the ideal life is composed of. And it's actually quite simple when you sit there and when you hear about it. The ideal lifestyle is composed of 1, good health, super basic stuff. 2, good finances. You don't live paycheck to paycheck. You're able to live below your means, but you're able to still have money left over to spend the way you'd like to. And that looks different for everyone. Number 3, you have good relationships with people. This is from a platonic standpoint, this is from a business standpoint, and this is also from a romantic standpoint. All 3 of those things need to be fulfilled for you to achieve eudaimonia and have a fantastic, flourishing, excellent, great, good, best lifestyle. Funny enough, college doesn't give you any of those things. Actually, in general, the school system doesn't give you any of those things at all. Let's start with health. Most foods you eat are shit in a lot of schools. If you go to maybe in some private schools, you might have good food. And I went to a private school, and I don't even think the food that we got was that great. As far as nutritional value is what I'm talking about. It was tasty, and it was different. It was, it might have been higher quality as far as you might have been able to get a cheesesteak rather than a shitty Lunchable, but it's not healthy. So you're not fulfilling that first pillar, as I call them, of eudaimonia, health. You don't learn about how to actually keep yourself healthy. You don't understand anything about how drugs affect your body. You don't really understand how nutrition works, how calories work, how to exercise appropriately. the benefits of strength and conditioning, the benefits of flexibility. You don't learn any of those things in college or school in general. And sure, you can take kinesiology classes in college, but my point is that as an institution, it should give you these things by default. These are things that should be taught even in grade school, elementary school, or high school. These are things that you should have as an adult. It should have been mandatory to receive these things. You don't get any of them. Finances. You don't learn about taxes. One of the things that makes people go from, I would say, middle class or poor to upper class is simply understanding how taxes work. The amount of things you can write off and the way you can manipulate your taxes will change your life once you understand this. People will look at someone like a Donald Trump or maybe like a Robert Kiyosaki, depending on what you follow, or just think of any wealthy person, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, any of these guys. A lot of the ways that they succeed, not only do they have businesses, not only are they wealthy, they use taxes to their benefit. And that's a whole rabbit hole when you understand how businesses operate, when you understand how on paper you might own a small percentage of the company. You might not get a salary. You might have, let's say, for example, stocks in the company. That might be how you get paid, and that changes the way your taxes are. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but the point that I'm making is that taxes alone are a fundamental concept that many people can benefit from understanding more. College and schools in general do not teach this. Again, you can probably find a class where you learn about this, maybe, but it should be mandatory. You shouldn't have to go looking for it. It should just be presented to you. You don't learn budgeting. You don't learn basic finances. You don't learn accounting. You don't learn any of the things that will guarantee or at least increase the probability of having an excellent life. But isn't that the point of college? Isn't that the point of the education system, to give you these things and set you off on a path of excellence or at least general relative success? Third thing, relationships. In a lot of schools, from my understanding, they dropped sex ed. One of the most fundamental things you could teach, just the general dynamics of sex between men and women, they dropped. Funny enough, it's crazy to me. You would think that they'd keep that. One of the most surefire ways to guarantee poverty or to guarantee a low-income lifestyle is to have kids when you're not prepared to have kids. Having kids when you're poor, when you're broke, almost guarantees that your entire bloodline from that point on will stay broke and will stay poor. And yet they don't teach the basics of how to just have sex, how to use a condom, how to not get some girl pregnant when you're super young, or how to not be a certain way around men. But even taking it beyond the whole idea of just romantic relationships, networking. How do I present myself as a more likable individual to other people I interact with? How do I speak in a manner that is persuasive yet compendious, not taught? Again, there are public speaking classes, but even then, are they public speaking classes that are applicable to the grand scheme of life? Are they public speaking classes that will guarantee that you aren't afraid of speaking to a small group of people? Are they public speaking classes that allow you to be a better, say, salesman, or to be more persuasive, or to be more decisive, or to just make people like you more? You could read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People and learn more from that one book than you will in all of your years in college or from any public speaking class. And I'll say this because I took public speaking in college, and that book was never even brought up. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That book was never brought up. And then there's the final thing, and this is the thing that stuns me the most about the modern education system, and the thing that I think gets slept on the most. And I'm going to tell you a funny story about why I just truly dislike the college system, or the education system in general, but especially colleges. One thing I think people should learn and they don't learn, and to me it's one of the major separators between the people that succeed in life and the people that fail, is time management. And I'm not saying you need to be a hardcore planner of time. I'm not saying that you need to be super meticulous and have every single second planned out in a day. But I've noticed over the years, and I help people with time management. That's what I do. I help coach people on time management. There's a big difference between someone who has basic time management skills and someone that has no time management skills. There's a massive difference of what they get done in a day. You see people that get done crazy things in like a short period of time. In 5 years, they've started 2 companies. They've written 3 books. They've read like 100 books. They have 1,000 friends. They have all these cool things going on in their lives. The difference between them and the person that has not progressed at all since they graduated is time management. They just know how to use their time a bit better. They know how to use their time more effectively. Using your time effectively is what makes all those pillars I mentioned earlier actually get built. When you have time under your control, you can go to the gym and get in better shape. You can meet new people, date more, make better friends, have higher quality relationships. You can manage your finances, have time to start a business, have a side hustle, maybe get a second job, whatever you want to do. Time is the variable that makes building all three of those pillars possible. And yet, funny enough, they don't teach it. I remember one time I took a class in college. It was a psychology class, and this was my junior year of college before I got kicked out of school twice. And I remember I was in this class, and there was a section that came up about time management. I remember this professor very well because once I got back into college, this is when I really disliked college because all the stuff I had been taught I realized was bullshit. This professor literally said,
"There's no such thing as time management. Time management does not exist. You should never try to manage and budget your time. It is impossible to do so."
He literally said that. And at the time, because I was indoctrinated into the system, because I was allowing the mediocre teachings of the education system to seep into my subconscious, I agreed with him because he was an authority figure. Now, years later, when I finally got back into college, I realized that by managing my time, I was able to get so much more done than most people. I was able to get in far better shape. I was able to manage my finances and eventually get back into college and eventually graduate. I was able to go on a lot of dates, meet different girls, have girlfriends, whatever. All these things were possible with time management. And yet the one thing that made all these things possible, a college professor literally said, it does not exist and I shouldn't worry about it. I want to make this video because I want to tell you that, one, you need time management. If you don't understand how to manage your time, you will not get ahead compared to other people. You will not be able to compete with people that can manage their time effectively. The other main thing I want to hope you understand from this video, college is failing most people nowadays. To me, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of your time. You can go to school and pay thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, take out debt, ruin your life with the debt because it will increase because of the interest exponentially. You will do that and you will learn absolutely nothing that will guarantee a great future. And yet you'll challenge me on my beliefs on college, even though I think they're completely justified. And I've only given you a very tiny taste of what college does to students or how it negatively impacts people. So I just think it's important to keep all these things in mind. Understand that my core message is that college is not suited for you and your best interests. It's not designed for you to succeed in life, or at least not succeed in a higher quality sense of life. It's designed to keep you mediocre. It's designed to keep you like everyone else and put you in a small bubble in which you think you're living a high quality life, when in reality, you're living a very low quality life. Does that make sense at all? Hopefully it does. So keep this in mind. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I'm always open for debate when it comes to this. Hope the video made sense. If it didn't, leave a comment, let me know, and I will respond to it and try to make it make sense. But if you do agree, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Keep killing it.